see is of Fable. It's telling her experience of her husband's experience with the nurse navigators during his journey through the hospital, both here in Mount Isa, Townsville, and Brisbane, as well as the services within the community.
The journey with Queensland Health started in September 2016. Rob, my husband, he became unwell one night and he sort of stumbled and he forgot something which he should have known. Like, we both work, Rob and I, and yeah, this was a weeknight. He was sitting at the computer and he just felt a bit off, and so I was watching him and I knew there was something wrong just with the way he was talking, so we rang the ambulance straight away. He just got steadily worse and worse, and actually he was out. Like, he was on a respirator and we didn't know what was going on with him. A healthy man in his early 50s, healthy as, and this happened, and he ended up in ICU for those couple of nights, and then he came good, and the doctors sent us home. And then about a week or two later, he had like this massive seizure in the middle of the night. So again, ambulance, up to ED, again ICU. They ran all these tests on him, and the only thing they could find was, and I'm sure he won't mind me telling his story, the only thing that kept on coming up was like low potassium levels. So that was all we could find. We'd go to work in the mornings, by lunchtime I'd get a phone call, can you come and pick me up, Faye, I'm not well. And so for 6 months this went on, and we were, yeah, the ambos knew us because we were ringing the ambulance all the time, getting taken up to the hospital. And they just couldn't work out what was wrong with him. They'd done CAT scans, they'd done an MRI, sent us to Townsville, and they couldn't find anything. And he steadily just went downhill over a 6-month period. He was going up to the hospital every week to get blood taken, and the results would be going to ED, and then we'd go up on a Monday to find out what the results were for his potassium levels. And they'd say, oh no, he's right, just go home, give him bananas, rah-de-rah, go and see your GP. So we were following their advice to the T, going to the GP, and we were retelling our story, because every time we went to ED, there was a different doctor over the 6-month period. And Rob, they put him on seizure tablets. I'm getting confused now, it's been that long. Anyway, they put him on all these tablets. He was starting to take heaps of tablets. He still had his own normal tablets that he'd been taking for chronic illness. Then yeah, he was just getting steadily worse. You never said much, you just listened to. I felt like kind of had someone was actually listening to what I was saying, you know, and he wasn't telling me do this, do that, and I could get advice off you. And I think the one thing that I really am so grateful for is you gave me your mobile number, and that was my lifeline to the hospital, to Queensland Health. When I was frustrated or anything, I could ring you and you would clarify stuff for me, because I couldn't understand what they were bloody saying all the time. Like, I thought I had a good grasp on getting help for myself and my husband. No way. You know, you've got to have someone there who can be your middleman, who can be your cushion. You know, otherwise it's so hard to understand. It's just, not only is the language hard to understand, but when you're in crisis, and believe me, we were in crisis, it was like, all you hear is the word cancer. Only got a week or two to live, you know, and that's right at the real spiky end of it. So it's hard. It really is. I remember when like I said, like for 6 months we were going back and forth between ED And it wasn't until March 2017 that we finally found out what was wrong with Rob. And of course it all happened over the weekend. So on Monday morning I was quickly ringing our bosses saying, we can't come into work, Rob's not well, this is what's happened. And then I rang Gia after I rang the bosses, and I remember didn't know what to do, and I think that's when I finally broke down. Like the whole time I was holding myself up, rang you, and you received my foul mouth, which I hated. I hated myself because you, like I said, you was my lighthouse. But I had to vent to somebody, and you let me do that at that time. And one of the things I remember, Gia, was like you could see the rough road that we were going to be, our journey. I didn't, I was in denial. And I remember you telling me, oh, you've got to get that authority done, Faye. And I was thinking, I'm not going to get no authority because my husband's not going nowhere in my head. And I kept on putting it off. And what do you call it?
EPOA.
And I was like, no, I'm not going to get that done. My husband's not going nowhere. And I can see it in hindsight, it's a lovely thing. It was your way of trying to get me prepared for what was to come, what could have eventuated at that time. As it was, we had to quickly do that EPE.
Enduring power of attorney.
That's it, EPA. Acronyms, government paid income acronyms. We had to do that at a very intense time. Because we nearly lost him. And you could see the road that we were going through, and I think when we came home after Rob had all his operations, and we was just living day by day, but seeing the same person, God, I don't know if people realise the benefits of having that one person who knows your story from the get-go, how much it can help. It's just, so you don't have to repeat yourself, and you know that they will go and have a talk to the doctors and that, and you know that they've got your back, that sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And will speak up for us. Because you just see so many doctors, and you don't get tired of telling the same story. Well, you do, but you miss out on important bits of information that they may need. And having someone like yourself who can fill in those gaps that they can see that we've missed means so much. It really does. And just also looking after our well-being. It's crazy as a carer for someone to say, and she knows this, I'll go great guns until she'll say, how are you doing? And well, I'll go to pieces. But just know that someone is there for you to do that. It's good. Because I've got beautiful kids, I've got a wonderful family for that support. But I don't always tell my kids everything, because they're your kids, you know. You're meant to be looking after them, not the other way around, especially at this deadly time in our life, you know, when they're all grown up and should have left home by now. But I'm very blessed to have that sort of support, you know. Yeah, we had the oncologist, the radiologist, the neurosurgeon, the neurosurgeons in Brisbane, oncology department in Townsville, then we've got the GP here at Gidgee, then we've got the hospital. So you've got to be talking to all these different people, but having Gia just bring up, oh, I've got an appointment, come in and sit in there. Like I said, she knows our story, and I know that she'll go back and talk to doctors, not behind our back, but to tell our story, make sure that we get things right. There were times when I didn't even know our travel schedule. I had to ring you up, because it's like 2017, we were just on planes all the time, and you know, commercial plane, RFDS plane. It's crazy. I didn't know where I was going to be, but I knew I could ring you and talk to you at any given time. But just having, like I said, just having you in the middle, knowing all the things that need to be done, giving me reminders about things, texting. God, that's so helpful. I don't know if you realise how helpful that is. I now know what it's like to have wraparound services, yous coming out to us, and it was beautiful. It wasn't intrusive, the way yous came out and sat down and talked, and it wasn't like you was always in a hurry. Although I'm sure yous had a million and one things in the back of your head where you could have been, but yous made us your priority. That's how we felt. Like you come and see me, you ring me up, you know. So good. My little lighthouse. Yeah. Like you're in the middle, I'm having stormy seas, and that's what it feels like. Like you're out to sea and you just don't know what you're doing. You don't. You're talking medicine, you're talking about medications, and you're talking about things you've got no idea. You know? You try to make it sound like you know what you're doing, but you don't. So it's good to have you there. You can then interpret what I'm saying to the doctors. Oh. But you're almost like the big sister. You know, like, I'm sure it's in other families, but in our culture there's always like a big sister or an aunt who like takes control of things and looks after you.
Yeah.
So it was almost like having a big sister there to talk for me. Because in my family, I'm the eldest in my family, and usually I'm the one there going to medical appointments and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's what that's like too. Yeah, very grateful. I don't know if you realise how grateful I am. Yeah, that's good.
Hey guys, hope you found the video really educational. Pulling from the Willits experience, just be mindful when you are meeting that person for the first time, if we can try and improve their journey right from the get-go. We're hoping that the rest of the journey will be the same as well, and if we can reduce some of those anxieties and challenges that people have, it'll make it easier for them to come into hospital or see you in outpatients or even going to their GP.